Oh, fabulous. Okay. Good job. All right, matrix. Going forward, our lessons are going to start promptly at 6 o'clock. So my suggestion to you is to please try and be here by sort of 3 minutes or 4 minutes too, so that we can get started at 6 o'clock straight away and we can make best use of the hour that we've been given. The other thing that I want to suggest that you make sure you have with you every lesson is either a pen or a pencil, something to write on, so paper or a book or whatever, and then also make sure that you've got your calculator with you. Okay, so Katlejo and I are here to help you as much as possible. Please, we love people talking to us. We love people asking questions. Don't be shy. Even if you think your question is silly, it doesn't matter. Please still just ask it anyway, because chances are there's probably somebody else who wants to know the same thing in any event. And no one's here to judge you. We're here to help you. Okay, so even if you think your question is silly, it's not. Go ahead and go and ask it anyway. Okay, so let's get started. A big part of matrix sequences and series, and we will get into sequences and series, is what you learned in grade 11, so quadratic number patterns. So maybe we're a little bit rusty on that, so I wanted to start there with just a little bit of revision to get our brains working. Do you recall that in grade 11, which is the first time you would have done quadratic number patterns, you would have seen that it takes the general form tn squared is equal to, tn is equal to an squared plus bn plus c. So in other words, whoopsie daisy, my pen's not working. So in other words, there's the general formula over there. All right. In this example, they have asked us to consider the following number pattern. So it goes 2, 3, 6, 11. So in other words, just get another pen. So in other words, term 1 of the pattern is 2. Term 2 is 3, etc., etc. What they want us to do in the first question is to determine the nth term or the general term in the form tn equals an squared plus bn plus c, and hence the value of the 42nd term. Right, so in other words, they are asking us to work out the values of A and B and C. So now we need a starting point. Where is my starting point? What am I going to do? I'm going to ask Sipasihle. Where would I start with this question, Sipasihle?
Sipasihle, are
Can you
there?
hear me, Sipasihle? Can you hear me, Sipasihle? Okay, let's try someone else. Okay, Percy, what about you? Do you know where to start with this question? What is the first thing that I should write on the page?
I kind of forgot, like.
I'm so glad you said that. Okay, because that's why we're here and we're having these lessons. All right, is there anybody that can remember where it is that we start with an algebra, quadratic number pattern? Okay, so Sia Temba, you raised your hand. Go for it.
For the quadratic number sequence or thingy, you first have to find the first difference and second difference, and then use the second difference to figure out A.
Well done. That's excellent. Brilliant. Okay, so following what Sia Temba said, what we're going to do, grade 12s, is we're going to set it out like this. So this is question A, and we're going to write down 2, and then 3, and then 6, and then 11. All right, and then Sia Temba said we have to work out what our first difference is. So that means the difference between term 1 and term 2. So we say term 2 minus term 1, the difference is 1. Okay, then the difference between the next two terms is going to be 3. Then the difference between the next two terms is going to be 5. Okay, so this row over here is called our first differences. And it is always what sort of pattern, Latabo? Your first differences is always what sort of pattern?
I don't know.
You don't know, that's fine, that's why you're here. Okay, so it's always linear.
Oh, yeah.
Or as you may have heard your teachers this year referring to as arithmetic. So in other words, there's going to be a constant difference. All right, so can you see as we go from one term to the next, what are we adding each time? Let's ask somebody else. Nkolisi, what am I adding each time when I go from 1 to 3 to 5?
You add 2.
Exactly, 100%. Okay, so 3 minus 1 is 2, and 5 minus 3 is also 2, just like that. This row over here in red matrix is called your second difference. And for all quadratic number patterns, it is always going to be a constant. So a number, either a positive number, or it could also be a negative number if your first differences are decreasing. So that's the first thing that we need to do, right? After we've worked out our pattern of first differences and second differences, this is where our learning from grade 11 comes in, all right? Because there are specific rules that we have to use. So the first rule that we have to learn is 2a. And 2a is always equal to our second difference. So we're going to take 2a, we're going to make it equal to 2, and then divide both sides by 2. That means that a is going to end up being what, Antonio? 1. A is going to be equal to?
1.
1, that's it. Okay, good job. Wonderful. The next rule that we have to learn, okay, you guys have to learn this, is 3a plus b. And 3a plus b is always equal to the first term of the first difference. Okay, it can't be equal to anything else. It has to be equal to the first term of the first difference. So in this case, it's going to be equal to 1. Okay, now I see there are a couple of hands up. Is there anybody that wants to ask a question? I know there were, Luyanda, your hand I see is up. Who else has got a hand up? Luyanda, did you want to ask something?
No, I wanted to answer.
You wanted to answer, okay, all right. Okay, so Luyanda, you can answer this. What am I going to do now? Now that I've made 3a plus b equal to 1, what am I going to do? Do you know?
Yes, we're going to substitute a by 1.
Excellent. Good. And now what are you going to do?
We multiply 3 by 1, we get 3. And then b is equals to -2.
Good, Luyanda, that's excellent. Wonderful. Well done. Okay, excellent. I'm so pleased. Now the last rule that you guys have to learn, okay? And this is a plus b plus c. And that matrix is always equal to the first term of the quadratic pattern. It cannot be equal to anything else. So color coordinating it like this for yourselves is a good way. Percy, is it starting to come back now?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it starting to come back? Okay, all right. So now, in place of the A, Percy, what am I going to write?
In place of the A, you're gonna put a 1 there. And you're gonna say minus 2.
Yes.
Then you're gonna say C equals to the 2 there on top.
That's it. Excellent. Okay, so now I need to take these two terms over to the other side. So what is C going to be equal to, Percy? You're on a roll here.
Let me just work it out quickly.
That's okay. Work it out. And then you can tell us and we'll see if everybody else has got the same answer.
So it's gonna be 3.
Excellent. Okay, do the rest of you get that, Matrix? Is it making sense so far? You're getting the same answer here. Are there any questions? Oh, good. Sipa Cecily, thank you for giving us a thumbs up. So if everybody understands so far, then you can give us a thumbs up. Let's try that. Let's try some of these emojis. Okay, Luyande, cool. You've given us a nice emoji. Thank you. How's everybody else feeling so far? Okay, Siyabonga, thanks for the thumbs up. Good job. Okay, Siyatemba, you've got a question you want to ask?
No, I was asking.
You just,
No, I was asking.
yes.
Please can you scroll up a bit if you're done. I just don't want to
Yes.
take
How's that?
like up. Like go to the first question.
Oh, scroll up like that.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem. All right, so when they've asked us to determine the nth term, right, what they now want us to do is put in the A and the B and the C that we have calculated. All right, so that means after all of this, what we would need to do, and I'm just going to move this over. Okay, I need to scroll down again if that's okay, Siyatemba.
No, it's fine, ma'am. Thank you.
Is it fine? Okay, no problem. So Tn matrix is equal to 1n squared minus 2n plus 3. Okay, so that is the first part of the question where they asked us to determine the general form. Now they ask us to calculate the value of the 42nd term. So what are we going to do with the number 42? Any ideas? Let's ask Letabo. What would we do with a 42?
Are we not gonna replace it in the TN?
Okay, so in other words, am I going to replace this whole thing with 42 or am I just going to replace the n with 42?
The N with 42.
Exactly. Okay, so the value of the 42nd term means work out Tn when n is 42. So lovely, good. So we write like that, 42 squared minus 2 times 42 plus 3. Okay, and that's how we would work out the value of the 42nd term. What do you guys get as an answer? What did you get as an answer? I think you're on mute, my girl. You can unmute yourself.
I can't hear you.
Can you unmute yourself, Rekomoditswe?
I've asked you to unmute.
Okay. Okay, so Sipasitle has put an answer in the chat. Good, and so has Valerie. Good job. So 1683, I'm getting exactly the same answer. Rekomoditswe, you with us? 1683, did you get the same answer? I know it's a little bit difficult in the beginning because we don't know everybody yet, but don't worry, that'll come. Okay, so there we go. So 1683. So now we've done the first part of the question. Let's go back and have a look at what the second part asks us for. It says, determine which term will equal 1091. So what letter are they asking us to solve for? And what does 1091 represent? 1091 is a what? Let's ask. Who have I not spoken? Renewa. What does 1091 represent, Renewa?
Renewa, are you there?
Ma'am, I'm thinking about we should find the number that is a term of 109, general term.
Absolutely. So Renewa, if my rule is over here and my rule is n squared minus 2n plus 3, where should I put the 1019? Should I put it in place of the n or should I put it in place of the tn?
I think on the tn, ma'am.
Good, well done, 100%. Okay, so matrix very quickly then, all right, they're asking us to work out which term in the pattern 1091 is. So 1091 is going to go in the place of Tn. It's going to be equal to n squared minus 2n plus 3. And now we need to get it into standard form. So that means taking our big number 1091 over to the other side. It's then going to be equal to n squared minus 2n. And now we need to say 3 minus 1091. All right, and that means that we're going to end up with negative 1088 on the left-hand side. Now we have a choice, right? Either we need to factorize or we can use the quadratic formula. With situations like this, where we've got a number 1088 is such a big number, so I think using the quadratic formula for a lot of us just makes more sense. Okay, matrix, the quadratic formula, n in this case is equal to negative b, so it's equal to 2 plus or minus b squared, so that's minus 2 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 1 times c, which is negative 1088, all over 2 times 1. And now what we should find is that we get 2 different solutions for n. All right, pop that into your calculators and let's see what we get. One solution we'll be able to accept, and the other solution we're going to have to reject. So yes, Luyanda.
N is equals to 32 or n is equals to negative 34.
Okay, I didn't get that. Maybe I made a mistake. I got n is equal to 32 or n is equal to negative 30. Sorry, is equal to 30, positive 34 or negative 32. Is that what you said? Or other way around?
N is equals to 32 or n is equals to negative 34.
34. Okay, I'm getting positive 34. Don't stress, don't worry. Anybody else? Okay. Jason says 34 as well. You know what might have happened? You might have just put something funny into your calculator. Anybody else getting 34 as an answer? Yes, Jason, me too. 34, negative 32. That's what I'm getting. Katlejo, what are you getting? Yes, 34. Thanks, Valerie.
Sorry, I was sorting out the names.
No, that's fine. Not a sorry, no problem. Yes, Siyabonga, I agree. Okay, I'm also getting 34 as an answer. Thanks, Sisutsu. Yes, Sipasihle, quite right. Now, matrix, can n be a negative number? No, definitely not. Okay, so any number that, if you get a value for n that is negative, or it's a fraction, or if it's a negative fraction, then you're going to have to disregard the number. Okay, so what we've managed to calculate here, matrix, is that term 34 is 1091. Okay, very important. If you are subbing into the quadratic formula, you must show this line. You also have to show the line where you accept the 34 and reject the minus 32. So in other words, your marks would be allocated here for equating, here for factors or for the quadratic formula, and on this line as well. Okay, there wouldn't be out of any more than that. All right, so let's get on with our lesson. And here is a little bit of practice for you guys. So when we get to the traffic lights, this is something for you to try. what Katlego and I would like you to do is just to try one question, right? So either question 2 or question 3. Question 3 is a slightly more difficult question, and question 2 is a bit easier. So if you feel that this is very easy and you know what's going on, then challenge yourself to try and do question 3. Okay, CPC Claire, what's your question?
Can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
I can't hear you, CPC Claire. Yes, you're welcome to say, okay, I can see you've said, can I say something in the chat? Absolutely, you can say something. Okay. Okay, so Matrix, try a question and we will give you 5 minutes, right? If you need to ask a question, I'm here, and so is Katlego. Okay, other people have raised their hands as well. Okay, CPC Claire, do you want to pop it into the chat? And Siatemba, do you want to pop it into the chat? Okay, Renewa, you've also got a question.
I'm gonna ask you, if we're doing the exercise now, are we writing down the questions, or is the
No, don't worry about writing down the question. Just do the answer.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, otherwise it's going to take too long.
Yeah.
Okay. Siatemba?
Ma'am, I was just asking, must you do both question 2 and 3?
No, Siatemba, just pick one.
Okay, thank you.
Just pick one. And then I've got the answers here, and then I can show them to you in like 5 minutes. Yes, absolutely, superficially. Okay, it's because that is a valid solution to the equation, to the question that's been asked. All right, but the problem is that n can't be a negative number. It can't be negative 32 because our n numbers are our term numbers. So when we start counting, where do we start counting? We start counting at 1. So it's term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4. There's no such thing as term minus 32. Okay, it's not a counting number. Okay, so that's why we would have to reject minus 32 as a solution in this situation. Does that make sense? CPC Claire? Perfect.
Renewa, do you have a question? Renewa?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Your hand was raised, so I was just checking.
Okay.
Is everybody managing okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
I would just want to know, is A is equal to 4 now?
In question 2.
2A, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. All right, so I've got the answers there for you that you can check when you're done. Okay, but you're quite right. 2A is equal to 4. Good.
Sorry.
Yes, September.
In the quadratic equation formula, is
Yes.
B equals to the first term?
So in other words, so the coefficient of the n squared term is A. The coefficient of the n term is B. So if you have a look at our previous example, all right, that we were working on, all right, this one over here, all right, excuse me, in this case, A would be equal to 1, the coefficient of the n squared term. B would be equal to -2, the coefficient of the n term. And C is always the constant on its own. Okay, so C would be equal to 3. Does that make sense, September?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so there's just a couple minutes left, guys. And what you should find is that if you're not getting through this quickly, it means you haven't practiced this enough. Okay, so you've got to go to past papers and go and practice these concepts on your own, okay? Because this is the sort of stuff that you should be able to do quite quickly. Okay, so that's just a hint or a tip going forward. Okay, 1 more minute, Matrix. Okay, so unfortunately we are now out of time. We're going to have to move on with the lessons. I need to show you the answers. I hope that everybody was able to finish at least one question. So here we go. If you did question number 2, right, here are the answers in black. So you should have discovered that A was 2, B was -1, and C was 0. In which case your nth term was 2n squared minus n. They wanted you to calculate the value of the 20th term, so you should have subbed in 20 and you should have got 780. Then as far as question B was concerned, determining which term will be equal to 3160, you would have taken the nth term, 2n squared minus n, made it equal to 3160. Here I ended up factorizing instead of using the quadratic formula, but that makes no difference. So it's just this line over here that you would substitute for the quadratic formula. That's, whoopsie, that's this one. And then again, I can't have n being a negative fraction, so I would have to choose the counting number like so. All right, so everybody that was doing, oh, so Lataba says you can't hear me. Lataba, I'm not sure why. Hang on, let's just message Lataba back. How did that go for the people that did question 2A? Is it a thumbs up, thumbs down? Give us an emoji. Tell us how you're feeling. Is it easy?
Thank you, Luyanda. Specific thumbs up. Trish, Ritumedzi, Abina. Those are all thumbs up. Percy,
Lovely.
Nkolisi, thumbs down.
Okay. All right. And then was there anybody who tried the second question, number 3?
I tried number 3.
You tried number 3. Okay, so let's go and have a look at the answers for you. Okay, Jason said yes as well. Okay, so there we go. This is what I did in question 3. I hope I didn't make any mistakes. So I got my pattern of first differences as -6, -8, -10. I got my constants as -2. So I said 2a is equal to -2. So a was -1. I said b was -3 and c was 0. So my nth term is -n squared minus 3n. Term 25 would give me a -700. Okay. Then they wanted us to find out which term in the pattern -810 would be. So equating our nth term to 810. Factorizing, again, if you use the quadratic formula, that's fine. And then I got my answer as 30. So Jason, and was it Siatemba who did this question? Did you get the same answer as me? Cool, Jason. Nice.
Yes, I did.
Oh, lovely. Well done. Anybody else try that difficult question? Valerie. Okay, Valerie, good. And you got it right. Okay, and Luyanda. Nice. Good job. Okay, so let's move on now. That was just a bit of revision. Let's talk about arithmetic sequences. Right, so this would have been probably one of the first things that your teacher would have discussed with you when it comes to sequences and series. So a few notes, a few things to know. You don't need to write this down. You can always come back and watch this video later. So when we talk about an arithmetic sequence, there is always going to be a constant difference between consecutive terms. So for example, if we have got an arithmetic sequence like 1, 3, 5, 7, the constant difference is always 2. How we work out the constant difference is by working out term 3 minus term 2 or term 2 minus term 1. So it's always the next term minus the previous one. And that's all I was trying to say over here. It's just this is the next term minus the previous term. Normally what we see is it written like this. So term 3 minus term 2 or term 2 minus term 1, right? If we have an unknown letter in our pattern and they want us to solve for that unknown letter, we've got to use this concept. So term 3 minus term 2 is term 2 minus term 1. Don't forget that you need to put, especially these ones over here, in brackets so that we remember to change the signs. We'll talk about that now. We've got an example that we're going to look at. All right, so this is our constant difference. The first term of the sequence is, we always use a letter A to represent the first term of the sequence, and the general term of an arithmetic sequence is Tn equals A plus n minus 1d. Okay, so A is the
First term.
The first term, indeed it is. And D is the?
Common difference.
Yes, the constant difference. And N is the?
Term.
Term number. Term number. And Tn is the? Value of
the last term.
So the value of the last term or value of any term. Okay, so value of any term. Good job. Okay, if you learn these formulas, matrix, it means that you can save time in your exams because you don't have to go backwards and forwards to a formula sheet. Okay, but then just make sure that you've learned them properly. Yes, Siatemba, you've raised your hand.
I'm sorry, maybe it's me, maybe I'm slow, but please quickly scroll up so I can just write down the notes that you just were talking about, those ones.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Siatemba. If there's not enough time for you to be able to write everything down, Siatemba, don't stress, because what you can do is you can always come back later and come and watch this video again. All right. Okay, can I go on?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so first example, okay? Consider the arithmetic sequence 3579. Determine a formula for the general term of the above sequence. All right, now, okay, they've told us that it's arithmetic, so that means that we have to use Tn. All right, so Percy, can you tell me what it is you think I should write to answer question A?
I'm not sure, ma'am.
That's okay. So they want the formula from us, okay, Percy? So it says here, determine the formula for the general term of the above sequence. So we can see that it's an arithmetic sequence, so we have to use this formula over here, the one with the green border around it, right? So what we will do is we'll look at the pattern. What's the first term in the pattern, Percy? It's
3.
It's 3. So that means that A is 3. And if you say 5 minus 3 or 7 minus 5 or 9 minus 7, that means that the difference is?
It's 2.
Excellent. Okay, so your nth term is going to be Tn equals A plus n minus 1 times D.
3.
Okay, perfect. Now matrix, you sub in, and then you've got to simplify. All right, so 3 plus multiplying the 2 into the brackets gives us 2n minus 2. And our final answer is going to be 2n plus 1. Okay, so there's our nth term for the pattern. Okay, easy peasy. Is there a question? No, everybody good? All right, so then when they want us to find the value of the 50th term, we are going to sub in 50 in place of n. So term 50, they want the value of the 50th term. All right, so they want Tn from us. So we're going to say 2 times 50 plus, exactly. Okay, so that's going to be 101. Indeed. Okay, straightforward. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so how is example 2 different to example number 1? Can anyone tell me?
Ma'am, I don't think there's a constant difference.
Just say that again, please. I didn't hear exactly what you said.
Ma'am, by what I see, I don't think the constant difference.
You don't see a constant difference. Okay. Siatemba, you've got your hand raised. What do you see?
Ma'am, they said here you must determine which term is equal to 80. So meaning at the beginning they didn't tell us to didn't tell us to first find the formula. in question 2, they're telling us to find which one is equal to 80, and the constant difference is 3.
Absolutely. Okay, so what is implied? That's a very good answer. So what is implied in this question is that we need the pattern, we need the nth term, all right, in order to be able to work out which term of the pattern is equal to 80. This 80 over here is a Tn. When a question says determine which term, they mean you need to solve for n. Right, so we recognize that this is an arithmetic pattern because there is a constant difference of 3. So A is equal to -1 and D is equal to 3. It's arithmetic, so we must use the arithmetic term formula. So Tn 80 is equal to A plus n minus 1 times D. All right, so subbing in to the correct formula will get us 1 mark. I'm going to take that over to the other side, the 1. So this is going to become 81 equals, expanding my brackets now, 3n minus 3. And then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to add 3 to both sides. Okay, so this gives me 3n is equal to 84. And how many times does 3 go into 84? And hopefully it's going to be a counting number. What do we get, guys?
So it's going to be 28, ma'am.
28.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yes,
there.
28. I got 28 as well.
Yes, indeed. Good job. Thank you. There we go. And we've got a few people putting that in the chat as well. Yes, Sisetu. Yes. Okay, good job. Let's have a look at the next question. All right. Now, this is what I was referring to when I was talking about this over here. Okay, so term 3 minus term 2 is term 2 minus term 1. Right? We are going to use this concept in order to be able to answer these questions. All right, so term 1 is x, term 2 is 4x plus 5, term 3 is 10x minus 5. So I am going to write that 10x minus 5, term 3, minus, use brackets, 4x plus 5 is 4x plus 5, term 2, minus, whether I use a bracket here or not, it's not going to make any difference because it's a monomial, but let's just be in the habit of doing that. Now we're going to remove the brackets, collect the x's one side, collect the number the other side, and it's like a grade 8 equation. All right, so this is really straightforward. We get 10x minus 5 minus 4x minus 5 again is equal to 4x plus 5 minus x. Let's collect the x's on the left. So we've got 10x minus 4x minus another 4x plus x. And on the right, we've got the 5 that comes down from here, and then plus 5, and then plus another 5. So how many x's do we have left? I'm getting 3. On the right-hand side, we have 15. So that means that x must be equal to 5 in this case. Right, so this is very important, Matrix. They love to ask these questions. All right, and it's a very quick and easy way to get plenty of marks.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Is this the one where term 2 is minus by term 1 equal
Correct.
to that one?
Yes, quite right. So this is where you say term 2 minus term 1 is term 3 minus term 2. Okay, so I'll just write that here for you. It doesn't matter which way around you do it. If you say term 2 minus term 1 is term 3 minus term 2. Or if you want to, you can start the other way around and say term 3 minus term 2 is term 2 minus term 1. It doesn't matter. Okay. All right. Now, We've only got 10 minutes left. We'll have a little bit more time in other lessons because we would have started on time. Again, I just want you to do one question matrix. Okay, so there's either question 5, which is super, super easy, or there's question 6. I would prefer it if you did question 6, but if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, then you're welcome to just do question 5. All right, so let's give this a go. Let's make it a bit bigger. Okay, so Matrix, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know that you're busy thinking at the moment. I just want to let you know about what's happening with regards to our classes. There was an error made tonight when you were told, when you were told that this class starts at 6 o'clock. In fact, going forward, it's going to be starting at 5, and then it will be the same on a Thursday as well. So we will also start at 5 for the standard course, and then if you're joining us for the advanced course, that will start at 6 o'clock on Thursday evening. Okay, so 5 o'clock Tuesday, 5 o'clock Thursday for the standard course, and 6 o'clock on Thursday for the advanced course. Okay, so you've got 3 minutes left for your question. Okay, so Sipasihle, you're saying, do you do videos for the lives? Because starting from tomorrow, I'll be knocking on. Yes, so Sipasihle, all of these videos are recorded and you will be able to go and watch them again. Okay, so that's not a problem at all. Obviously, the only thing then is you wouldn't be able to ask questions. Yes, Rekomodetswe. Oh, there we go, from Eric. They'll be available 24 hours later on our website. There we go. Yes, Rekomodetswe, what did you want to ask?
We can't hear you, Rekomoditse.
Yeah, I can't hear her.
There we go.
either.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. I cannot join in the class at 5 because I literally get home at 5:30 from school. Can you hear
Okay.
me? Okay.
All right, Rekomeditswe. Let's see. I'll talk to Eric afterwards, and let's just see. I don't know if that's the same for everybody. How do you feel, Matrix? Is 5 o'clock too early for you? Do you want to put something into the chat? So Sipasihle, you said 5 o'clock's too early. Okay, so pop into the chat, Matrix. What would your preferred time be? Would 6 o'clock suit you better?
Yes.
So Valerie says 5 is fine. Leander says it's too early. So you would prefer 6 p.m. most of you?
Yes.
Okay, most of you are saying that.
Antonio says 5 is preferred.
Okay. Most of them are saying 6 o'clock. Okay, so let me speak to Eric and to Marilise, and we will get back to you, Matrix. And if we need to adjust the time, that's fine. It's just for a Thursday. It's obviously going to be a problem because that starts at 5. The standard course, and then the advanced course starts at 6. Okay. Katlego also needs to speak to you. So just very quickly, I know this was a little bit rushed. I just want to go through the answers. All right. So if you did question 5, there's 5A, which term in the sequence is equal to 51. You should have got 17. And for part B, calculate the 51st term, subbing 51 into AN plus N minus 1D. You should have got 187. Then as far as question 6 is concerned, term 3 minus term 2 is term 2 minus term 1. So I got the value of P to be a half. I hope you guys also got that. So when they ask you for the sequence matrix, that is a sort of class question. It's not something that they would ask you in an exam. In an exam, they would be very specific about what they wanted from you. So like the first term or the second term or whatever it is. So the sequence goes a half, 3, 11 over 2. We get that by subbing back in. Question C, they asked us for the value of the 49th term. So I got 120 and a half. And then the last question, which we didn't actually see, it was hiding there at the bottom. They wanted to know which term in the pattern was equal to 100,5. So we would have subbed in as so and worked it out to be 41. All right. Are there any questions? No questions, Matrix? Is everything straightforward and easy? Just going back. Are you sure? Nothing you want to ask me? Okay, so if I could just ask you one last question, if you can just put something, okay, Renewa, yes?
Ma'am, can you go to question 6? I'm a little bit confused in 6A because I've done, my P was 7 over 4. So I want to, can you?
Oh, so you wondering where did I get this P value from? What were other people's P values? Did other people also get 1 over 2 like I did? Hope I didn't make a mistake.
I've got the same.
You got the same as me, okay. Siatemba?
Yes.
Oh, so sorry, that was just you that I spoke to. Sorry. Okay. So Renewa, term 3 minus term 2 is term 2 minus term 1. Okay, so it would have been 5p plus 3 minus 2p minus 2 equals 2p plus 2 minus p. Then when we collect all our p's on the left, we've got 5p minus 2p. Then when this term over here moves over to the left-hand side, it becomes minus 2p. And when minus p goes over to the other side, it becomes plus p. This 2 came down. This 3 came across, which is why I changed its sign. And this 2 came across over here, which is why I changed its sign. Okay, so you probably just made a little adding mistake.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave it there. I'm just going to hand back to Katlego so that she can read to you what she needs to. Well done, Matrix. That was a lovely lesson. Thank you.
Yes, well done, Matrix. I just have an announcement for you. Watobe has a new website. So we are offering a 2-week free trial when you sign up. So you first have to sign up to have access to the free trial. I just posted it in the chat. Go to www.watobe.co.za and ask your parent or caregiver to sign you up. As I said, you first sign up and you'll get a free trial. And let's be honest, we all love free stuff. We'll get a 2-week free trial and your own brand new login name and password that gives you access to these live classes, as well as quizzes every week. So I'm sure you all would like quizzes to see if you're following and you're understanding everything. We will not be sending Zoom links anymore to everyone after next week. So to continue coming to class, you need to sign up. You need to sign up for the website. And please do this before Friday, because from next week on, no more Zoom links. So get this done before Friday to make sure that you carry on attending and you can do quizzes. So the old Watobe app, you might be wondering what happened. We don't use it anymore. Everything you need is now available by signing up and logging into the website. You will attend class, access practice quizzes via the website only. Did everyone get that? So please sign up. We will not be using Zoom anymore. So in order to have access to quizzes, everything will be on the same website now. We won't be using Zoom anymore. Yes, thank you. That's all I had to say.
Okay, Matrix. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed your lesson. We'll see you at 5 o'clock on Thursday evening. All right. It's a pleasure, Lebogang. Bye, Jason.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.